When I was 4 years old, I physically assaulted a teacher at my kindergarten, and so as punishment, they walked with me around the block until they found a free candy white van, handed me over to the old diddler, and collected me back at the end of the day. And so from a very young age, I've been pretty desensitized to pain, suffering, and diddling to the point where I am 100% certain I could survive any form of inhumane punishment without even breaking a sweat. The worst punishments in history by the Paint Explainer.
Yakuza finger removal, also known as Yubitsume. It's a ritual done to gain forgiveness after a member committed an offense to someone else in his group.
Wait, this is really on the list? A finger removal? This is one of the worst punishments in history? Okay, interesting. I mean, what do you even need your finger for? Like, this is easy. I mean, maybe if you play video games, you need it for, like, the keyboard and mouse. But apart from that, there's, like, really nothing else. Because me, personally, I don't really, like, interact with many women, and so I wouldn't really need a finger, you know? Like, if you know what I mean? Like, if you know what I mean.
And it consists of amputating portions of one's own little finger to show sincere apology and remorse to the other. I've put this one as the least painful because it doesn't usually cause lifelong lasting pain, and it isn't deadly, unlike the brutal ones further down the list.
Oh my god, retention. We gotta stay for the end of the video. We gotta stay, it's retention. It's the Mr. Beast retention hack.
Bastinado. Bastinado consists of...
Bastinado, bro. Why does it sound like bastardado? You bastardado. It sounds like a slur, honestly. Because a bastard is someone who is, what was it called? Yeah, a child born to parents who are not married to each other. Yeah, bastard child. You bastard child. You bastardado.
Bastinado consists of beating the victim with a light rod, knotted cord, or lash, exclusively on the feet. Unlike most types of flogging, it is meant more to be painful than to cause actual injury.
Damn, I'd get kind of turned on by that. Like, bro, this would not faze me at all. This would turn me on. Getting, like, whipped on the feet? I would actually quite enjoy that, honestly. Like the only place you're gonna get hit is the feet? That's, like, hella kinky. Like, they're not even gonna, like, whip you anywhere else. Look, you're fully exposed. They could spank your guy out if they wanted. But no, instead they're just gonna go for the feet? Okay. That's not too bad.
Even though if done too harshly or for too long, it might cause the victim to not be able to walk anymore. This one is also not deadly. Pitch capping. Pitch capping involves pouring hot pitch or tar into a conical paper cap and forcing it onto the victim's head. The pitch was allowed to cool, and the cap was ripped off, removing skin and tissue from the victim's scalp, scarring him for life. It wasn't usually done with the intention of killing, but deadly infections after this weren't that uncommon.
Okay, that one's pretty brutal. Okay, that's hot tar. I assume tar is, like, similar to cement, but just, like, a hot version of it. So, like, hot cement just on your head. Okay, how would you survive this one? I guess for me personally, my hair is so thick that, like, the tar probably wouldn't even reach my scalp. And so by the time they rip it off, it's not even going to be, like, connected to my skin and my tissue. It'll probably just rip my hair out, which is fine because I can just, like, regrow it. And so I won't be at risk of, like, infection and dying from the infection because, like, my skin wouldn't be ripped at all.
Elephant's foot. This punishment, also known as Gunga Rao, was mostly used in Asia, specifically India, and it consisted of killing the victim by crushing him with an elephant. There were two variations of this. If the victim was lucky, his head would be placed on a pedestal, and the elephant would crush it, instantly killing him. This wasn't that painful because the victim would die instantly.
It's really not that painful? Getting crushed by an elephant? I mean, even if it's an instant death, like... Still, getting crushed in the head by an elephant, like, it's not gonna instantly flatten you. Like, what if it just goes halfway and it cracks your skull halfway? And then you're just sitting there just waiting for it to, like actually, like, finish it off, but it's just, like, sort of toying with you. I think that would be, like, honestly, up here. That would be pretty painful.
But the second variation wasn't as forgiving. Some royal members wanted to sit down and enjoy a long show, so they ordered the elephant riders to train the elephants to walk over non-vital parts first, such as the legs and arms. The person would get crushed over and over before the elephant actually walked over his head and killed him.
Okay, yeah, that one is potentially much worse than option one. Okay, now I understand. But I mean, I guess if you ever found yourself in this situation where your head is literally on, like, the pedestal and then the elephant's, like, about to crush you, I guess there's really no way out of this. But I guess the way that I would survive, so, like, just as the elephant is like about to crush me, at the last minute I would, like, roll. I'll do, like, a commando roll. I'll, like, roll to the side to roll my head off, like, the actual pedestal. Then the elephant would crush, like, just the pedestal by itself, which wouldn't have my head on it. And since it would be, like, expecting my head on it, it would be, like, you know, like, crushing down with, like, quite a big force. And it would then sprain its ankle off the edge of the pedestal, because I assume the pedestal probably wouldn't be, like, that big. Then once the elephant sprains its ankle, it will probably fall down onto the ground. Then I'll probably get up off the ground, and instead of, you know, like, running to the exit to escape, I'll turn around, head straight towards the elephant, and do unspeakable things to the elephant's gaiats, just to sort of, like, teach it a bit of a lesson, so that it, like, doesn't do this elephant's foot thing to anything else. And then I'd, like, you know, calmly make my way out the stadium.
Poinakulli. In ancient Rome, those who would kill their own father were subjected to poena culli. It was a death penalty that consisted of being sewn up in a leather sack with a mix of live animals, including a dog, snake, monkey, and a chicken, and then being thrown into water.
Wait, but what if the executioner, the person who does the poena culli, what if this person has to do it against his father? Because what if the father murdered like the grandfather, and then this guy has to do like the execution on the father because he murdered his father, but then when he does the execution on the father, that is his father, so he gets the poena culli instead. But anyways, this would be, yeah, this is hella easy to like escape. So you're in a bag with all these live animals. So dogs, yep, historically we have eaten dogs. I haven't personally eaten a dog, but yeah, I can easily eat that. Snakes, yeah, you can eat that. I think I may have eaten a snake in like some random Asian country I went to like ages ago. Monkeys, yeah, I'm pretty sure people, yeah, actually, I think there's like a health risk if you eat a monkey, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, there are people who eat monkeys. I've seen videos online of like just the skull, like the monkey head, that's just like charcoal because it's been like barbecued alive, like whole. And then chicken, yeah, like everyone eats chicken. So yeah, I'd probably just eat all of these animals before they can even like attack me. And then when I get dropped into the ocean, yeah, that should be pretty easy. I can swim. Like, it's not like I can't swim, so I'm not gonna drown.
Roman decimation. In ancient Rome, when military units or a large group were guilty of capital offenses, such as cowardice, mutiny, or desertion, they went...
Wait, cowardice is wait, what? Capital offenses. Cowardice is a capital offense? Really?
They went through the process of decimation. A cohort of roughly 480 soldiers that needed to be punished was divided into groups of 10, and each group drew lots randomly. The soldier who picked the shortest straw had to be killed by his 9 friends, often by stoning, clubbing, or stabbing, while the 9 surviving ones had to stay outside the fortified security of the camp for some time. Since the killed victim was chosen randomly, all soldiers in the group were potentially liable for execution, regardless of how guilty they were.
Okay, that is pretty cruel. That is not only like, you know, physical torture, that is like a mental punishment as well. That is, yeah, okay, that is pretty bad. Because it's literally chance. Like, you have a 1 in 10 chance of being killed. But even then, even if you aren't the one that's killed, you have to like take part in killing that one guy. And if everyone like, you know, doesn't commit to it, then he's gonna like suffer a slow, brutal death. So that means one person will probably just have to take charge and actually like, you know, kill him. So yeah, that would be pretty tough. I mean, I guess in this situation, yeah, once again, this is pretty easy to survive because the way they do it is to like draw the stick, and I'm pretty sure it's possible to cheat in this. Okay, so apparently the strategy is to be one of the last people to draw the straw, because as the number of straws go down, the probability that you have the right one goes up. Actually, wait, no. Wait, so that means you should be the first person to draw it, because then you don't want to draw the short straw. I think the goal is to not draw the short straw. So that means you should be the first person to draw a straw. So that's the strategy. That's how you survive this one.
Blowing from a gun. Blowing from a gun is a method of execution in which the victim is typically tied...
Bro, is that a Clash of Clans gun? Is this like Clash of Clans cannon? Bro, it's literally the Clash of Clans cannon.
In which the victim is typically tied to the mouth of a cannon, which is then fired, resulting in instant death. A description of what happens was given by an English soldier in the 19th century, and he said that the victim's head goes straight up into the air for about 40 or 50 feet. The arms fly off right and left, high up in the air, and fall at around 100 yards distance, while the legs drop to the ground beneath the muzzle of the gun. It's this low on the list because the victim probably doesn't feel a thing, as his death is instant.
Okay, so once again, this one is pretty easy. So instead of, you know, just facing the other way, allowing yourself to get, you know, blown up by this cannon, I'm pretty sure the strategy is to do the Looney Tunes finger in the barrel. So when you put your finger in the barrel, like the whole gun will explode, I think. I think they tested this on Mythbusters, and maybe it came back false, but as long as it works in Looney Tunes, it should work in real life. So instead, you just put your whole, maybe your fist, maybe your Gaiat, you put your Gaiat in here, and then the cannon will like explode on itself, and then you should be safe. So that's how I would survive.
Basil II's blind journey. Byzantine Emperor Basil II reportedly captured 15,000 Bulgarians during the Battle of Kleidan, so he decided to use them as a message to their homeland. He divided the prisoners into groups of 100, and then he had 99 out of every 100 blinded, with the 100th man being blinded in only one eye, so that he could still lead the other 99 back home. Bulgarian Tsar Samuel died of a heart attack on October 6, 1014, reportedly due to seeing his soldiers blinded.
Okay, that is pretty cruel. That is, bro, that is horrible. A semi-blind person leading the rest of the blind people back home. Bro, at that point, like, that is just like psychopath behavior. Who thinks of this? This guy really think of it himself? Because what are they meant to do when they get back home? Like, they're blind. They can't play video games anymore. But anyways, I guess you'd survive this one because you don't actually die on the journey. I guess you just have to either, like, you know, follow the one person at the front, or if you are the one person at the front, just make sure, like, your men don't die, because none of these people ended up dying unless they fell off the cliff over here. But I mean, if you fall off the cliff, then like you're a bit of a noob, bit of a bot. Maybe you deserve to.
Immurement. Immurement was used both as an execution method and as a lifelong imprisonment method. It consisted of putting someone in an enclosed space and really tight space, such as behind a wall, for the rest of his life. If it was used as an execution method, the person would be left to starve to death, while if it was used as imprisonment, they would regularly give the victim food.
Wait, so is this where the phrase "I'm in your walls" comes from? Because the guy is literally in the wall, and he's just meant to stay there for the rest of his life and just starve there and die. But I mean, to survive this, if you were sort of exiled here to like starve to death by yourself, I don't think I would starve to death, because I'd probably, just eat parts of myself, and that should buy me enough time for maybe, maybe at least 3 months. But during that time, I would also be, using my fingernails to claw out the wall, sort of how like people use spoons to escape jail. Because if someone can use a spoon to like escape through a concrete jail and to dig a hole through like concrete ground, concrete everything, then it's definitely possible for me to use my fingernails to dig through, what is this, like brick? Brick is like nothing.
Rack. The person would be forced to lay on a rectangle-shaped wooden rack that stretched the victim's body by pulling the arms and legs in opposite directions. It caused incredible pain and could lead to dislocated limbs and torn ligaments. It was mainly used as a method to get information, but it could also be used to tear the victim's limbs out and leave him bleeding to death.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely a not an ideal situation to be in. But the thing is, who is pulling on these ropes? Because if I was here, like I was strapped to the table with ropes, I mean, first of all, it's kind of kinky, so maybe I'd enjoy it. But second of all, there's no way they're going to be able to pull me against my own strength, because I'm going to be like pulling inwards. Like with my legs, I'm going to be pulling upwards towards my body, and with my arms, I'm going to pull myself inwards. And so instead, I'm going to be like dislocating and ripping this guy's limbs off, whoever is pulling. Wait, but the plot twist is, what if on the other end of the rope, it's someone else, like their leg. So their leg is up here and I'm pulling against their leg, but they're trying to pull against my arm. So only one person can survive. It's either I rip their limbs off or they rip my limbs off.
Choke pear. It was a metal tool that was put into someone's mouth or booty hole and then made bigger on purpose. The tool would stretch the tissue to the point of no return.
Oh, I like that. That's not bad. And it doesn't kill you either. The point of no return, so it's either your mouth or your gaiat. Oh, so it's a contraption that starts small and then it just expands. You know what? That's not bad. That is not bad at all. I would enjoy this quite a lot. What is it called? Choke pear? Do they sell these? No, they don't. No, they only sell real pears. But I assume it would work with a real pear. You just shove it up there and it would technically expand the gaiat.
Aztecs' live heart removal. When the Aztecs sacrificed people to Huitzilopochtli, the sun god, the victim would be placed on a sacrificial stone, and the priest would then cut through the abdomen with an obsidian or flint blade. The heart would be torn out, still beating, and held towards the sky in honor of the sun god.
Okay, first of all, I thought this video wasn't like AI generated, but then when he managed to pronounce this word like perfectly without hesitation, that's when I realized, okay, yeah, this is most likely AI generated, this entire video. Huitzilopochtli. Actually, it's not that hard to pronounce, but I mean, to survive this punishment, I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy. Because first of all, he has to cut your chest open using a flint blade. But do you understand how weak flint is going to be, like, against my skin? First of all, flint won't be able to, like, pierce my skin. And second of all, even if he does manage to, get my chest open and, like, reveal the heart, he'll be quite shocked to realize that there is nothing there. I have no heart because I'm Sigma. I'm the Alpha Sigma male.
Heretic's fork. It's a collar with 2 sets of metal forks at each end. One set was placed under the chin and the other at the sternum, and the device was secured around the neck. This forced the victim to keep their head raised, leading to severe discomfort and sleep deprivation. The person would be asked questions or just be left there, while the fork slowly pierced through their neck and jaw, and this lasted until the victim could no longer hold their head raised, causing the fork to pierce through.
Oh yeah, that is not that bad, honestly. It's kind of kinky. It's like a dog collar. It's honestly a dog collar. I mean, I can imagine some woman putting this on me, like, and just dominating me. That would be fun. That would actually be fun. This is really a punishment. This is heaven.
Rat's cup. A method attributed to the Roman Emperor Nero involved tying a cup filled with hungry rats to the victim's stomach and then applying heat to the bottom, forcing the rats to burrow through the victim's body to escape. In some parts of South America, they used a variation of this method called the rectoscope, which consisted of inserting living rats into a victim's rectum through a tube, forcing them to make their way through the victim's body to get out.
Damn, that is not too shabby. What, bro? What are these punishments? How have I never heard of these before? This would this not be enjoyable? That wouldn't be too bad, honestly. And I mean, you're not guaranteed to die. I mean, it's definitely possible to survive this, I think. But I mean, yeah, you'd be able to enjoy the ride. Like, you'd be able to enjoy it.
Catherine's wheel. An execution method where the victim's limbs were tied to a large wheel and then struck with a hammer or iron bar, breaking their bones in multiple places. The wheel was placed on display later on, often leaving the victim to starve.
Okay, so that is pretty brutal. So you're basically just a vegetable attached to a wheel on display. Okay. But I mean, I think they'd have a hard time doing this to me because I drink a lot of milk. And so even if they use like Thor's hammer, I don't think they'll be able to break my bones. And so I'm just going to be like standing there just tied to the thing. And then I'll be able to untie myself because my limbs aren't broken.
Keel hauling. Keel hauling was a severe maritime punishment where a sailor was tied to a rope and dragged underwater from one side of the ship to the other, passing under the ship's keel. If the person did not drown or get vital damage from the rusty and sharp wooden body of the ship itself, they would just do it again until the person was no longer alive. It was feared for its brutality.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely not an ideal situation to be in. That is quite bad. But I mean, the thing is, they keep doing this until the actual sailor dies. But what if the sailor just never dies? Because if I was here, like, this is not like that much water. I don't think I would drown. Like, I can swim and I can hold my breath for a long time. So all I'd have to do is just survive it every single time they drag me underneath the keel. And I'd just like open my eyes underwater just to like make sure I get away from like the rusty bottom. So they won't be able to drown me. Like, maybe I would get a little bit tired, but I could stay out there for days, hours, weeks, months, years. And they just keep doing this. And like, they wouldn't be able to drown me.
Sawing. When used as an execution method, the victim would be hanged upside down to make the blood flow to the head, increasing the time the person was conscious. The executioner would then divide the victim vertically into two halves, starting from the groin and moving upwards.
Okay, this might be a little bit tricky to survive. However, the thing is, they got to start sawing from the very top. And you know what else is at the top? My huge, massive 2-inch dingling. And so I don't think there is any chance they'll be able to like saw through the dingling. They'll start sawing and then they'll get stuck. It'll be like a bit of like a roadblock. And then they'll try to like saw around it. Like they'll probably try to go around the leg. But then my dingling would just like turn to the right to like block it. And then if they try to saw to the left, my dingling would like go back to the left. And so I'll basically be cock blocking the saw.
Glastration. This method wasn't always deadly, but in my opinion, it deserves this spot because of how brutally painful it sounds. It's the method of inserting a glass rod into a man's erect willy and then smashing it with a hammer, causing the glass rod to fragment into multiple small pieces that shattered all over the insides.
Okay, that would be pretty painful. But I guess like the easy solution is to like not get erect, because they say they have to thread it through an erect dingling. But if you don't get erect, then I don't think they'll be able to like thread it through like fully, properly. Also, if you have like a 1-inch wiener, like the rod is going to be tiny. If you have a 0.5-inch dingling, like this is not going to work at all. Like they'll shatter it and then like nothing will shatter because like the thing was so small that like you can't even shatter it. Like one of these shards will be the same length as the actual dingling, and so you can't shatter a shard into like a small shard. Like this is literally the shortest a shard can be.
Bamboo through booty hole. A bamboo would be put inside a person's booty hole, and it would be left there. The bamboo would grow really quickly inside the man, causing incredible pain. It was sometimes left until it exited from the other side.
I find this very hard to believe because I do have bamboo plants and they grow so slowly. Everyone says, oh, bamboo, they grow so quickly, it grows so quick. Bro, they don't. I have a bamboo, it just does not grow at all. In fact, it's literally snapped. Like it's snapped off before it could even grow because the wind just like makes it snap and everything. But anyways, this would not be that hard to survive. I mean, yeah, this would be quite enjoyable, honestly. And also, you wouldn't starve to death because you can eat bamboo. Bamboo is edible. And so as it grows out your mouth, I guess you just chomp down on it and just eat it.
Brazen bull. A metal statue shaped like a real-sized bull was used to lock someone inside and then heat it up with fire underneath. The person inside would feel extreme heat and pain while being burned alive, and it was meant to scare others by showing how bad the punishment could be. There were special pipes to make the victim breathe, which also made the screams hearable for the crowd, resulting in a bull-like sound. The steam would leave from the bull's nose for extra realism.
I mean, I think this is like the hood classic of, worst punishments in history. The brazen bull, I've heard of this. So basically, yeah, you get burned alive, but I'm pretty sure the only way you die is if you like can't handle the heat. Like low-key, you could just chill in there for a bit until they like let you out. Maybe if you survive past like 24 hours, they'll let you out. Because yeah, it will get pretty hot in there, but like it's not like unbearable. Like maybe it's slightly uncomfortable, but like you can easily survive this, right? I'd probably just, take a nap and just wait for the 24 hours to expire and then like they'll let me out afterwards.
Impalement. The brutal part of impaling, like crucifixion.
Crucifixion? Is that how you pronounce it? Crucifixion? Crucifixion? I think that's how you know this is an AI-generated video. Crucifixion.
Like crucifixion is that the victim tortured himself. In a famous variant, he was set up high on a stake so that it didn't actually penetrate anything vital so long as he stayed up on his toes, so he could keep it from going any deeper so long as he kept his own weight on his feet. When the victim would get tired, he would slip a little further, and when he felt the pain, he would scramble up again on the already aching and exhausted muscles, only to repeat this process out of exhaustion a little later, and so on until something vital got pierced. Another variant consisted of the Judas chair, a torture device featuring a pyramid-shaped seat where the victim was placed at the top, with ropes used to lower and suspend their body weight onto the sharp apex. The chair would slowly rip the person apart.
Okay, that is bad. But at the same time, it goes up your guyat, and it's not really like that big either. Like, so basically your guyat would just need to be big enough to like fit this in it, like that sort of like circumference. It looks like this, like sort of like this. That's not too bad. That I think that is definitely doable. So I mean, how many days do you have to survive there before they let you down? Like maybe like a week? I mean, that wouldn't be too hard. You just have to like keep that up there for a week. But I mean, this one is pretty brutal. You have to keep going up and down. It's like, okay, it's literally penetrating you. But I mean, what if you just like do it on purpose? Like instead of doing it out of like tiredness, what if like during the first 15 minutes that you get put up there, you just like start doing it rapidly just because you enjoy it, because it's not really that painful anyways.
Scaphism. This one is considered by many to be the worst execution method. In this punishment, the condemned person was placed inside a boat or between two boats, lying on their back with their arms and legs protruding through holes. They were force-fed large amounts of milk and honey, which induced severe diarrhea, and their entire body was smeared with the same mixture. This made them attractive to rodents, bugs, wasps, bees, flies, and whatever other animals lived near the lake. They would eat and bite at the victim's flesh, and when the next morning arrived, the boat would be brought back to the coast, and they would force-feed him another gigantic meal of milk and honey, also placing it on him once more. This was done on a daily basis to prolong the punishment for as long as possible. It was reported that the rats would usually try to go into the person's booty hole, and that the method was so long that it seemed to have no end, with a person surviving 17 days. This person reportedly had his entire face completely covered with wasp, and his flesh was rotting away, filled with swarms of parasites and worms, all while being covered in his own filth.
Okay, so that was sounding pretty bad until he mentioned that the rats will go up your booty hole. That's actually not too shabby. That is not that bad. And also milk and honey, that's not bad. Like that is actually quite enjoyable. So they feed you that every single day for free, and then you also get covered in your own like milk and honey diarrhea every day for free, and you get a free boat ride every single day. You don't even have to pay a ticket for the transport. But they say people survive 17 days before they die, but like how does anyone even die? Like, as long as you remain hygienic, like you just like shovel all the poo to one side and you sit on the other side, and then you just enjoy the milk and honey like every day. It's for free milk and honey, and then you even get like free like guyat cleaning from like the rats and everything. Bruh, this is heaven. Video games are making people violent. People before video games existed. Actually, yeah, that's kind of true though.